जयधारी माँ। हर जीवन अनेक प्रकार के रंगों से भरा हुआ है। बातचीत वही रंग बांटेगी आप सबके साथ। हम सब एक हैं, बस सोच अलग अलग है। बटोर लीजिए उन रंगों को, जो भी आप चाहें इस बातचीत से, और ढाल लीजिए अपनी सोच में। यही मकसद है इस बातचीत का। आइए मिलते हैं अपने प्यारे से मेहमान से। अतिथि देवो भव।
जयधारी माँ आप सबको। आइए जुड़िए और आज मिलिए रणवीर से। हमारी पहली इंस्टिंक्ट है टू ब्लेस हिम एंड टू गिव हिम अ लॉट ऑफ गुड विशेस। आप लोगों ने उसको बहुत प्यार दिया है, और दीजिए, और ज्यादा दीजिए, ढेर सारा दीजिए। बहुत साफ दिल है, बहुत मेहनती है। ही इज अ स्टूडेंट ऑफ लाइफ, ही इज ट्रूली अ सीकर, और एक बहुत पवित्र मकसद को लेके वो आगे बढ़ रहा है। ब्लेस हिम, खूब सारी ब्लेसिंग्स टू हिम। माधारी ब्लेस हिम। रणवीर पर एक वीडियो देखते एंड देन ही विल जॉइन अस एंड टॉक टू अस। आइए।
Fantastic.
Jayadhari Ma.
Fantastic.
God bless you. Ma bless you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Madhari bless you. अच्छा.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Bless you. हम conversation शुरू करते हैं. Mummy, with your permission.
Truly blessed, truly
Yes.
blessed, and very excited to meet you, Ranveer. Thank you so much.
Likewise, ma'am.
Thank
Likewise,
you,
ma'am,
sir.
as always.
Very wonderful.
बहुत सारा प्यार और बहुत सारी blessings.
You're such an inspiration for your age group and for the
Yes.
youth as a whole in this country.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Just trying to do my best every day. That's all.
That's what you keep reinventing. You keep evolving, reinventing, and evolving. How wonderful!
Thank you, ma'am. Means a lot.
Thank you.
Means a lot
Thank
to
you.
just share the stage with you too.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
अच्छा, अब रणवीर के स्टाइल में बोलते हैं. Today we are going to have a very deep conversation with Ranveer.
Can't wait. Very excited. Little scared, but very excited.
नहीं. I think you're such a blessed child. They're blessing you. They're blessing your journey.
Thank you, ma'am.
अच्छा, ये बताओ. Tell us about your gentle warrior energy. Tell us, what was it like when the journey began? It's not easy. Social media is not an easy space. You have to be very, very self-assured to be a part of this planet. It's a different planet. It needs different kind of a mindset. What was your early journey like?
हिंदी में, इंग्लिश में, मैम, जो आप
किसी
बोलो.
जैसे कंफर्टेबल हो. हिंदी, इंग्लिश, जो कम.
हिंदी में बता देता हूँ.
Yes.
तो इंग्लिश रखते हैं.
Yes,
So-
yes, we're going to do that. Yes.
ठीक है. बेसिकली मैम, शुरुआत हुई थी इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज में. एंड आई जेन्युइनली फील कि कहा जाता है कि हमारे काफ़ी सारे इंजीनियरिंग ग्रेड्स एम्प्लॉयबल नहीं होते, बट मेरा ये मानना है कि इंजीनियरिंग आपको एक टफनेस दे देती है, स्ट्रेंथ दे देती है, मेंटल स्ट्रेंथ दे देती है. तो टू अ लार्ज डिग्री जैसे जैसे मेरी एज भी बढ़ रही है, आई एम वैल्यूइंग इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज अ लॉट मोर. वहाँ से शुरुआत हुई थी. आई फील कि जिस तरह की मेहनत कॉलेज में होती है, उस तरह की मेहनत आप उसके बाद लाइफ में कभी नहीं करोगे. तो जितनी भी मेहनत आज भी हो रही है, आई फील कि इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज से कम है. इंजीनियरिंग में पार्टीज, रिलैक्सेशन, दोस्तों के साथ टाइम बिताना, वो सब भी होता है, बट इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज एक मुश्किल एनवायरनमेंट होती है. तो आई फील कि वहां से मेंटालिटी की शुरुआत हुई थी. जो भी 3 इडियट्स में दिखाया गया है वो सब सच है. तो आई फील कि अगर आप उस फेज ऑफ लाइफ से गुजरे हो, तो फिर सोशल मीडिया इज नॉट दैट डिफिकल्ट. सोशल मीडिया बेसिकली एक पॉइंट के बाद मैथमेटिकल बन जाता है. शुरुआत में तब इन्फ्लुएंसर मार्केटिंग जैसी कोई चीज होती नहीं थी, तो एक ऑब्वियस इनकम स्ट्रीम नहीं होती थी सोशल मीडिया से रिलेटेड. आई फील कि वी एंटर्ड इट एट द राइट टाइम. बहुत लोगों ने डाउट किया, पेरेंट्स खुद डाउट करते थे, पर मैं उनसे कहता था कि मुझे बस 2 साल दे दो, मैं यहाँ एक स्टार्टअप बिल्ड कर रहा हूँ. एंड दे वर काइंड इनफ टू अलाउ मी दैट. बट एट द सेम टाइम मैं एज अ फिटनेस ट्रेनर भी काम कर रहा था इन ऑर्डर टू मेक मनी. क्योंकि वन फिलोसफी ऑफ माइन हैज ऑलवेज बिन कि पहले आप बिल पे करना सीखो, उसके बाद अपने सपनों के बारे में सोचो. तो मेकिंग मनी हैज ऑलवेज बिन द प्रायोरिटी फ्रॉम एज 22. And I feel like that's kept me safe through the years. Ki I've always prioritized profits, whether it's building businesses, whether it's growing any journey. बहुत कुछ करना है लाइफ में, but I try looking at money as that energy which allows me to do it. So I'm not saying that money is the most important thing in life, but career wise एक वो pillar रहा है मेरे लिए at least.
जी, आपने ये बात बोली है तो मैं आपसे ये पूछ रही हूँ. एट अ वेरी यंग एज पैसे की समझ होना बहुत मुश्किल बात होती है. बिकॉज मनी इज डिवाइन प्रसाद एंड इट हैज टू बी, अपनी जीवन में उसको उसी रूप से फिट करना है. इट्स अबंडेंस, इट्स बरकत. एंड आफ्टर अ पॉइंट money should earn for its own self. You know, when you earn money, you need to invest in the correct manner. You need to utilize it in the correct manner so that it creates more energy for more abundance. ये पैसे की समझ कैसे आई आपको?
जो आप कह रहे हो वही मेरी बिलीफ है कि मनी इज एन एनेबलर. मैं ये मानता हूँ कि आपको एज अ ह्यूमन बीइंग इस दुनिया को और ज्यादा बेहतर बनाना चाहिए, पर एक्चुअली प्रैक्टिकली अगर उसे बेहतर बनाना है, आई फील कि मनी कैन बी अ वेरी बिग टूल. तो दैट्स माय आउटलुक ऑन मनी. बट एग्जैक्टली व्हाट यू आर सेइंग, मेरी एक फेवरेट किताब है ऑटोबायोग्राफी ऑफ अ योगी. उस किताब में लिखा गया है कि मनी इज अ टॉय इन द हैंड्स ऑफ गॉड. तो अगर आपने परमात्मा को फर्स्ट एंड फॉरमोस्ट रखा, एवरीथिंग एल्स टेक्स केयर ऑफ इटसेल्फ एज लॉन्ग एज आप मेहनत कर रहे हो. पर आई थिंक कि ये स्पिरिचुअल समझ ओवर द इयर्स आ चुकी है उस बुक को पढ़ने के बाद. जस्ट अगर आप एक बिजनेस सेंस से देखें तो आई फील कि थोड़ा सा बिजनेस एक्यूमेंट पहले से था. वो आई मेरे अकॉर्डिंग हर इंसान की खुद की एक यूनिक गिफ्ट होती है. तो बचपन से ही थोड़ा सा बिजनेस एक्यूमेंट था, मुझे पता था कि ऐसे बिजनेसेस चल सकते हैं वगैरह वगैरह. और वो बेसिक बिजनेस एक्यूमेंट होने की जरूरत है, स्पेशली हमारे इंडस्ट्री में, मीडिया इंडस्ट्री में, सोशल मीडिया में, क्योंकि ये एक बहुत फ्यूचरिस्टिक इंडस्ट्री है. तो यू नीड टू हैव वन फुट इन द फ्यूचर एट ऑल पॉइंट्स. मेरे अकॉर्डिंग उसे ही बिजनेस एक्यूमेन कहते हैं, कि ये प्रिडिक्ट कर पाना कि किस तरह का बिजनेस चलेगा, या फ्यूचर में किस तरह के प्रोडक्ट्स शायद लोग खरीदेंगे. क्योंकि एट द एंड ऑफ द डे सोशल मीडिया भी लॉन्ग टर्म में एज अ प्रोफेशन पॉसिबल है अगर आप इसे एक बिजनेस की तरह ट्रीट करो तो एक थोड़ा बेसिक बिजनेस एक्यूमेन की गिफ्ट थी. और एंड एज वी मूव्ड अलोंग द वे गलतियां करी, फिर गलतियों को सुधारा, अलग अलग चीजें ट्राई करी, बहुत फेलियर्स देखे, और फिर एट सम पॉइंट थिंग्स जस्ट टुक ऑफ.
Mommy is watching as an elder today.
Your mother played a role in this, Ranveer. I know your mom played a role in you getting that sense of money value. Even when she could afford to give you more, she did not. Can you comment on that?
Yes, ma'am. I feel both my parents, they're both doctors, and they've also seen a very interesting life. मतलब दोनों ने बहुत ज्यादा सक्सेस भी देखा, दोनों ने बहुत ज्यादा फेलियर्स भी देखे. जब आप मुंबई में when you're brought up in मुंबई, आप अपने पेरेंट्स को हमेशा नोटिस कर रहे हो कि दे आर ट्राइंग टू क्लाइम द करियर लैडर एट ऑल पॉइंट्स. प्लस मुश्किलों का सामना करना पड़ता है. एंड देयर वाज अ फाइनेंशियल सिचुएशन इन माय फैमिली व्हेन आई वाज 16 years old. तो एज 10 से एज 15 तक सब कुछ ठीक था, सब कुछ अच्छा चल रहा था. एंड एज 16 टू 22 बहुत सारी चीजें हुई. तो आई फील कि मेरे लिए भी वो एक कैरेक्टर बिल्डिंग फेज था. बट पेरेंट्स ने बचपन से ही पैसों की वैल्यू सिखाई है, इसलिए आज भी एक एक वो सेविंग वाला माइंडसेट रहता है हमेशा, व्हेन इट कम्स टू पर्सनल वेल्थ और व्हेन इट कम्स टू बिजनेस ओरिएंटेड वेल्थ. प्लस मैं हमेशा प्रॉफिट्स के बारे में बहुत ज्यादा केयर करता हूँ. आई फील कि बहुत सारे कंपनीज पैसे रेज करके जस्ट बर्न कर देते हैं. दैट्स बिकम अ बिग ट्रेंड इन द स्टार्टअप वर्ल्ड. बट पेरेंट्स से ये सीखा है, क्योंकि दे वर डॉक्टर्स हु सेट अप बिजनेसेस, उन्हें बिजनेस की समझ नहीं थी. मेहनत से उन्होंने बिजनेस के बारे में सीखा, और उसी मेहनत को उन्होंने आई फील ट्रांसफर किया मेरे में. डॉक्टर्स आर नॉट द बेस्ट इन बिजनेस, बट दे आर द बेस्ट इन नोइंग हाउ टू वर्क हार्ड. तो आई फील कि अगर आप ने उस हार्ड वर्क के एलिमेंट पर बहुत ज्यादा फोकस करा, मनी विल ऑलवेज टेक केयर ऑफ इटसेल्फ. स्पेसिफिकली मम्मी का रोल ये था कि आई फील कि मेरी मम्मी गुजराती है, शी इज हाफ गुजराती हाफ महाराष्ट्रन. तो उनमें पैसों की समझ अलग होती है. बिजनेस एक्यूमेन भी आई फील कि वहीं वहीं से आया है. सो देयर इज अ लॉट, मतलब मैं एक ऐसे लिख सकता हूँ कि मम्मी का क्या रोल रहा है, बट ऑलवेज ट्राई टू keep us valuing money, taught me to look at money as energy from a very young age. अब भी मतलब मीडिया में ना रैंडम खर्चे होते हैं, जैसे हमारे स्टाइलिस्ट होते हैं हु डिजाइन आउटफिट्स एंड ऑल दैट, और ये एक बहुत नॉर्मल चीज होती है मीडिया में. पर अगर मैंने मेरी मम्मी को बोला कि स्टाइलिस्ट की सैलरी इतनी ज्यादा होती है, इट वोंट सिट वेल विद हर. So at this point, she's not able to understand completely what's happening in media, but she knows she's given me the tools that I'll be able to navigate. So
So
yeah.
you recall your mommy made samosas for you and you sold them in your school?
Oh wow. हाँ. वाओ. तो ये थर्ड सेकंड या थर्ड स्टैंडर्ड की कहानी है कि हमारे स्कूल में हमें कहा जाता था कि देयर वाज अ फेज जहाँ सारे पेरेंट्स को कंट्रीब्यूट करके कुछ फूड आइटम्स देने थे स्टूडेंट्स को. स्टूडेंट्स एंड द पेरेंट्स टुगेदर हैड टू सेल इट इन द रिसेस. तो इट वाज माय टर्न, एंड एक कंपटीशन होता था कि who would be able to sell the most. तो जब एक वो competitive spirit किसी ने डाल दिया किसी एंगल से मेरी लाइफ के एक सिचुएशन में, the competitor in me wakes up. तो आई सैट विथ माई मॉम, आई वाज प्रॉब्ली 7 years old, और उन्हें बिठा के समझाया कि ओके वी नीड टू विन दिस कंपटीशन, तो समोसे इस टाइप के बनाना और इसके साथ लेट्स गिव फ्री ऑरेंज कैंडी व्हिच वाज लाइक 50 पैसे. And so I thought about profits and loss at that time as well. And I ensured we win the competition through business acumen. So yeah, some things, you know, you're born with. I'm blessed enough that God gave me these gifts.
So you priced it right, even as a child, you priced it right, you marketed it right, and you also gave take three and take this candy, something like that, and you sold
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
As a
very
child,
fast.
you already earned profits, and you knew the product. So you already had it sense. Were you born with, or did the home environment encourage this? How did you learn this acumen?
Ma'am, I mean, I don't know the exact answer, but my theory has always been that I think when you belong to a certain ethnicity in India, you're born with certain strengths and weaknesses. Every
Uh,
ethnicity in India has its own strengths and weaknesses.
Perfect.
My father is Punjabi, my mother's Gujarati. The Gujarati side is the business-oriented community, and the Punjabi side is the marketing and the swag. So I'm born with the best of both worlds. So I feel like I was born to create these businesses which also look great on the outside. So that's manifested in the career as well, but it's an outcome of being born in the right family.
So you're giving a success story, Gujarat and Punjab plus. Gujarat plus Punjab plus. Do a startup. You have got the right genes for it, is it?
100%, ma'am.
Yes, and his Karma Bhumi is Mumbai right now. His
Yes.
Karma Bhumi is Mumbai, and
Yeah.
Ma is giving him Sharan, and that's his Karma
Yeah.
Bhumi. Ranveer,
When I was
Ji.
Mumbai's had a very big role, and this you realize it more as you grow older. There's something that shifts in you when you spend your childhood in the city. So,
Yeah.
because you see everyone working all the time, so
Mm.
hard work is a second nature at this point, and I see that as a difference with Mumbai and other cities, and I love other cities as well. I might move out at some point, but the DNA of Mumbai is what has allowed us to keep the consistency going with YouTube, social media, business, what have you.
That's hard work has been your second nature. Your mom admires you for your hard work.
No, I'm
Ji,
glad.
ji,
That's great.
ji. Ranveer, there is something which I have been observing. I watch your work and I listen to your work. I do both. I watch it,
Thank
I observe it, I observe what you're doing, I feel the energy, and I listen to your work. And I want to share
thank
something with you,
Yes, please, ma'am.
which after this event also, maybe I'll just ask you to connect for 5 minutes and we'll talk about. I think you're on a very, very blessed path, and there is a continuous journey going on for you. Also, I think all the ups and downs of life actually are sent our way to connect us to the higher consciousness. Now, both ups and downs, both. You have been able to seek grace out of your ups and downs. Give a little message, even for our youngsters watching, that the downs can come, but as long as we can step up and learn the real lesson it has come to teach us, we're on the right path. Because you are a student of life. You are learning from everything. So how does that work with you?
Yeah, ma'am, I think one thing that definitely works for me is as a YouTuber, I'm documenting my life. I don't know how many human beings get that opportunity. It's a big reason I love my job as well, that I can actually go back and see what my mindset was at 22, at 23, and at 31, and I don't intend on stopping anytime soon. Uh, Seen a lot of failure, including even recently. It's not that failure only happens at the start of one's journey. That's the first thing I'll tell people, that I remember failing in engineering college and thinking it's the end of the world. And then I read a story or an article online around the same time about how the special forces of the Russian military only recruit people who have seen some kind of failure in their life. And I use that as a way to come to terms with my academic failure. Eventually, I passed in that exam and I graduated with good marks and everything. But failing in engineering college was a very, very important lesson, because you have to receive the jibes from students. You have to go through a lot with teachers as well. It's kind of like your social reputation takes a big hit. And I think that that's what people fear the most when it comes to failure. I think everyone thinks about log kya kahenge, the social aspect of it. But if you see enough of it, there is a fearlessness you attach with your process because you're okay with things failing. So that first sense of fearlessness is what I would definitely tell people to embrace very early on, that it's okay to fail. And I think it's changing in Indian society also. So originally I feel failure was something that people used to fear a lot in our society, but over the years people have understood the value of failure in academics, failure in startups, failure in life in general. It's an opportunity to bounce back. And I've learned this by interacting with a lot of the Americans on my show. That's one country which I feel gets criticized a lot on the world stage, but there's a lot of beautiful things about that country. One of the most beautiful things is that they actually celebrate the concept of failure, and it doesn't change your social standing much. People will talk about it, but then people encourage the fact that one tried in the first place. uh, as you grow older, I feel failures can get even heavier. So it's just about taking care of your routines in life, taking care of your mental health, understanding what contributes to mental fitness, because failures and negative phases will come. What are your anchors? That's the question to be thought about. So for me, it's always been the same anchors of physical fitness and mental fitness. The physical fitness can come from sports, the gym, dance. The mental fitness aspect definitely comes from knowledge seeking as well as meditation. I feel these two are very strong pillars that protect your head in the face of failure. I also feel, again, as Virat Kohli says, success is a lousy friend. Failure can be your best friend. There's nothing to learn from success, but there's a lot, and all forms of character development come from failure, according to me. So the more you fail, the more you have a developed character.
No, which age did you spiritualize failure? Which age? At which age? Much before you now you spiritualized failure, understood this spirituality much younger in age. I think normally it said spirituality or Gita or karma or actions or fate comes much, but you started to pick it up much earlier in life. What is the age? Because that's a message to the youngsters. They postpone. Sometimes we postpone this. I think you got it early. How did you get it? Who gave it to you? How did you nurture it?
I'm definitely my mother. I think the whole kind of gift of spirituality has come because I've been born to that lady. She herself is a spiritual being and gave me the right, initial mentality pieces. Now, I feel like one's spiritual journey is very subjective. It depends on the books one reads, it depends on people's friends, it depends on the friends one has, it depends on a lot of different factors. Um, okay, this conversation is going to go into a bit of a metaphysical realm now, but this is actually what happened. Um, I remember, so in college, I'd started working out and I was a decent student at this point. I'd bounced back from failure, but that tag of having failed in the first year stuck around. So in my third year, I'd qualified for an internship, which was very difficult to qualify for. I'd been selected out of 150, 160 college students because of communication ability, etc., etc. When I went to the placement officer's office, he saw my tight t-shirt and he said that, oh, why you applying for these things? You should go and gym. So he rejected my request to file for that placement, for that internship, which was very heartbreaking at the time. And then he dug up my old academic records and saw that one failure in that one subject in my first year. And he rejected my internship request. Now, while you're a college student, you've worked hard to achieve a certain goal, you've achieved it, and then the goal is being stripped away from you. So I started questioning the concept of failure a lot. I started questioning the nature of life a lot. That was a pretty brutal experience for me. I just remember being sad on my train journey home, and I remember walking back to my house from the railway station, and there's this one part of that road between the railway station and my house where I really looked up at the sky and I was like, God, what are you doing? Why are you doing this to me? Because engineering was hard in the first place, and this was a very heartbreaking peak of engineering college. So I was just very dejected. I went home, I napped, and in that nap I had a dream where I met my childhood guru at that same point on the road where I looked up at the sky and said that, why are you doing this to me? And my childhood guru, who was introduced to me by my mom, told me that you're on the right path, just keep walking. And eventually, when I woke up from the nap, I called up the company. I said, my placement officers rejected it. Can you please just close it outside of like college? They said, sure, we'll have you on. And a lot of good things ended up happening in that year of my engineering college. I did my first big internship at that point. I was selected as a bit of a sports secretary in college, etc., etc. So that I feel was some kind of a metaphysical turning point for me. Now I'm just relaying the actual story of what happened, but one needs to be open to such uh, kind of circumstances. When you're open to such spiritual circumstances, they end up happening to you. And there's been a lot of situations like this over the years where through a dream I'm told a certain something, and then that becomes a very important life decision. And I end up meeting the right people at the right time. I feel even that's a big spiritual blessing, honestly. So to answer your question, ma'am, it was around age 20. So got hit with it early. Started meditating at 22, and I've never looked back. I've always gone to a deeper format of meditation every year as well, because I've realized the value, especially when it comes to dealing with the life that we live in. This kind of society, we're going to see a lot of brutality, more so on social media. So you need to be really still on the inside, and that stillness for me comes from my spiritual practices.
Fantastic. At such a
Yes.
young age, this kind of awareness coming in is also not coincidental.
It's a journey.
Parents is good karma.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
And
It's a
he's
past
on.
karma and the present. You're combining your past karma with your present karma and you're multiplying the karma.
I hope so, ma'am. Like again, like I've come to realize, at least this is a rule we follow in our professional environment at office as well, that both the future and the past are fiction. So the only thing that matters is the present. So I try not to think of either. At least that's another mental practice that helps me cope with the difficult world of social media.
Ranveer, two things coming to my mind. You, bless you. Bless you so much. God
Thank
bless you so much.
you.
My heart is full of blessings and blessings for you.
Thank you, ma'am.
You know, when we started demonstrative learning 4 years back, and social media, I had no idea what social media was all about. And I dived into it. Grace, with Ma's Kripa, I dived into it. But I took a decision, one decision I took on very early, that no matter what is said, no matter the numbers, no matter the comments, I will do Namo to everything. If I am self assured and I know why I'm doing what I'm doing in a mindful manner, in a responsible manner, then I'll do Namo to everything. Everything. And I see that in you at a very, very young age. You spoke about fearlessness. Your fearlessness is mindful. Your fearlessness is not reckless. That's one part of the question. How have you handled opinions? Your fearlessness is mindful. And the third part of this is, because this answer could be a continuity. You've spoken about failures, but I think the most difficult thing to handle is success. कुछ बनना बन जाएंगे, लेकिन उसको निभाना, उसको सस्टेन करना with humility is the most difficult thing. And it could be the easiest if you are completely surrendered at the divine feet. So combine all this. It's not a question. These are my thoughts for you.
Thank you, ma'am, again, firstly. But what I think I have to genuinely highlight the concept of having an inner circle when it comes to friends.
Mm.
Uh, it's one of the truths of life that I've discovered over my journey. So whether it's the aspect of handling failure or success, I feel that original group of friends who was with you at the start is very important in the long term. It's also very important to shed off a lot of friends. That's another brutal truth of life that I've spoken about online. But sometimes you outgrow people. Sometimes you realize that people are not keeping up with your pace of growth. Sometimes you realize that a friendship has tilted in such a manner where an aspect of jealousy has been created, not through you but maybe through the other party. So it's a combination of having an inner circle of friends who you know for a very long time, as well as spotting social changes around you and distancing yourself from those elements. uh, that's what has helped me, I feel, in terms of handling opinion. Again, this is the case for anyone who is in the public eye, be it actors, be it cricketers. I think this is a general rule that everyone follows, that we try as much as possible to limit our sense of, hey, I care about this opinion, to certain people. So there's only a few people in our life whose opinion we actually bother about. And if those people think highly about us, that's all that matters. And if any of them think lowly about something we're doing, that's potential for something to be created and corrected. That's potential for something to be corrected. I've just followed the basic mathematics and it's kept me protected at all points. The only other element I add to this mathematical equation is I'm constantly trying to seek out older mentors, ideally from other industries. So you end up meeting great older mentors from your industry anyway. But when you see people from other industries and how they function, that's something that's been a big game changer for me, because it allows you to bring back tools and weaponry into your domain at your age. The right questions can unlock 20 to 30 years of experience.
But I have also seen another thing for you. Mommy, my heart is full of blessings for him, so I'm pouring my heart in that manner for him. You also care about your guest. And you not just, they asked me about demonstrative learning a few days back, and I said, I just had one word for it. I said, Baatcheet is a very well-meaning program. It's a very well-meaning one. That's exactly what you're doing. You care about your guest, and you truly, truly even care about your audience. Now, where does that care come from in your heart, where you're caring about everybody?
Again, this might be a little boring answer, but it's one of those gifts that I think God has blessed me with. Because even in school, I remember junior KG, now you're 4 years old. I was a very chatty kid even back then. So if I'm taken away from one part of the class and made to sit next to someone who's a stranger who I don't know, and the teacher clearly knows that I don't know this person, I would become that other person's best friend as well. So I just had, like, I really love human beings. I love meeting new people. Um, and again, the one golden rule of life that I follow is, people will forget what you do, people will forget what you've said, but people never forget how you make them feel. So if I have the opportunity to interact with someone over the course of 2-3 hours, maybe yes, I might ask them some uncomfortable questions for the sake of my profession, but at the end of it, they will never be left feeling attacked, demeaned, used in any manner. If I never meet that guest again, I want them to remember the interaction as something which was fulfilling for their journey as well. uh, I think that's a great kind of professional compass as well, and it's worked out for me in the long term, because I genuinely believe that kindness and the results of being kind compound in the long term, but you should never be kind for the sake of results. You should just be kind for the sake of being kind. So kudos to, I guess, my mother again. See, the thing is, the more I'm answering your questions, the more I'm going back to my mom. But I
Wonderful.
think you're asking extremely fundamental questions, and um, the fundamentals of life are incorporated before the age of 8. That's what I genuinely believe. So I know that my mom and her nature, she's a very sensitive person. Uh, she's seen a lot in life. She has been treated unkindly. I have been treated unkindly. And one knows how that feels. So you never want to put that energy out to anyone. But at the same time, I think the challenge of being a professional in the modern day world is that there will be moments where you have to be stern. There will be moments where you have to be harsh. You have to just know not to make it toxic. Do not, cross that line. Yet, I kind of call it the philosophy of tough love in the professional environment, but the philosophy of pure love in a personal environment.
Ranveer, how
You
much of
would.
a proportion are you of nature and nurturance? What's your proportion? Nature
Um,
and nurturance.
I think I've come to realize at least 60 to 70% is the nurturing aspect. I do believe one's early environment plays a very big role in the outlook uh, in terms of life, and I bracket the rest of life in that nature bracket. The people you meet, the situations you go through, all that just shapes you up. But say, for example, in your childhood, if you've had a difficult experience at school, you're going to come back, and the way your parents deal with that situation will decide your character in the long term, according to me. So again, I've never thought of this question before, but now that I'm thinking about it, that's what's coming to my head. That um, I'd once seen a video of Harsha Bhogle talking about Sachin Tendulkar and why Sachin Tendulkar became so great. And he said that what sets the great players apart from the good players is the word called attitude. And I'd seen this as a 16-year-old and not understood what that meant. Like, what is attitude in the first place? And Harsha Bhogle goes on to say that attitude is how you react to the bad situations. But all this was learned in theory by me, and I couldn't wrap my head around it. Eventually, when you get out in the real world and you have to tackle a lot of uncomfortable situations, uh, I've come to realize that your reputation, as well as the highlight reel of your career, is an outcome of how you deal with the bad situations, like conflict, like failure, like insults, like what have you, anything that one would associate a negative emotion with.
No,
So, but
even
all that,
humility. Even humility. When it comes to amazing success in your life, total humility and total gratitude and total surrender.
ma'am, I'll tell you what, like, very transparently and honestly, this Punjabi blood that runs through these veins. And I do believe that that swag that comes with being Punjabi can easily turn into some degree of arrogance. And it's a battle that I've had to fight a lot when I was younger, where my mom, my sister, my best friends, maybe at the age of 24, 25, when you first start seeing success, they sit you down and tell you, hey, you're changing. So it's something I've been very wary of over the years. And maybe on the surface, it looks like this guy is seeming to be humble, but it's something I have to work on regularly. And I have to be able to catch any kind of self praise in my own head and really question if it's just self love or it's the first, fledgling, like the first seedling of arrogance. So nip arrogance in the bud. That's how I look at it.
You've got mass and you've got all your 10 gurus Ashirwad with you. Arrogance nahi aayegi pa. Bilkul nahi aayegi because you've got that heart. Now, before we show, we've got a little surprise for you. We're going to show you your heart. But before we do that, आपकी बातों से मुझे एक और बात याद आ रही है which I'm going to share with you. जब भी कोई पवित्र स्थान की मैं क्षमा मांगती हूँ पहले ऑडियंस से बिकॉज आई डोंट नो इफ आई एम गोइंग टू बी एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट अबाउट दिस लेकिन मेरे मन की ये बात मैं कर रही हूँ रणवीर जब भी कोई पवित्र जगह की स्थापना करते हैं ना पहले भूमि माँ की पूजन होती है और भूमि माँ को पूजा जाता है। एंड कहीं पर तो आप थोड़ा सा उसको डिग करके उसके अंदर बहुत पवित्र चीजें डालते हो एंड देन इमारत बनाई जाती है। और मैं हमेशा ये बोलती हूँ, स्पिरिचुअलिटी इज व्हाट यू सोइंग every moment. But now I feel spirituality is first getting the bhumi, the foundation ready. Where will you sow agar zameen tayar nahi hai? Now that's what your heart has done. Your heart is in the right place. You've got the foundation ready. Your bhumi is ready to build on it. So that's your heart.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
ठीक है,
Thank you.
but ये सांसारिक तौर पे ये वर्ल्डली वे में we'll show you your heart space because that's where it beats, and from there all your creative ideas come. So that's your heart space, that's your space. Let's show you
Mystery.
that.
Welcome to the TRS studio. तो आज आपको एक बहुत ज्यादा बिहाइंड द सीन्स फील दूंगा। आई एक्सप्लेन टू यू कि हम किस तरह की इक्विपमेंट यूज करते हैं। सीट्स में भी एक लॉजिक होता है हमारा, प्रॉप्स के पीछे एक लॉजिक होता है। पहले तो मैं ये बताना चाहूंगा कि ये कलर हमने चूज क्यों किया लाइफ के इस स्टेज में। ऑब्वियसली मैं पूजा पाठ ज्यादा कर रहा हूँ, शिव जी से ज्यादा कनेक्ट हो चुका हूँ, तो ये डार्क ब्लू मेरे लिए एक बहुत स्पेशल कलर है। तो इस कलर की वजह से जो टेक्सचर्स है हमारे पीछे, ये मैक्रेमे, इसकी वजह से मैं लोगों को एक शांत कामिंग फील देना चाहता हूँ। आई बिलीव कि इस डार्क ब्लू की वजह से बहुत इंटेंस हीलिंग मिल जाती है।
Wow.
अब हमने आपकी उसमें से लिया है रणवीर, आपकी कॉपीराइट
नहीं, अरे ऑल मैम, nothing like that.
That is your heart space, no? That's where it beats and gets all the creative ideas.
Yes, ma'am. I think that is one of the most important physical spaces I have come across in my life. And I remember even when we were looking for houses to move into for the sake of growth, um, when we came across this particular house, there was an energy in the space. And sometimes you just know it was a little bit out of our budget, but we still went for it, hoping for, the career to grow. And it did grow. That room has seen a lot of special souls come in and be vulnerable, open up, chant mantras and what have you. So, very, very important space. And even like my greatest idol is Virat Kohli. I've spoken about this so much publicly. When I met him, of all the things he could have possibly told me, he said that I'm very fascinated by your studio. I want to come and see it once. So I said, sir, this whole house is yours. Like,
Very nice.
yeah.
Very
So
nice.
there is anyone who's ever visited my home knows how blessed I am to have that space as my home. And the thing is, we record all our videos in my own house. So when I'm having someone over on the show, it's also a personal experience for me that I'm inviting someone as a guest into my own house.
And I
Do you
think it's
maintain a
also
daily journal? Do you maintain a Ranveer? Do you maintain a journal of your thoughts, of your feelings, of your and a visitor's book of your uh, dignities and
As
dignitaries?
as as superficial as this may sound, ma'am, I genuinely truly enjoy the art of social media. And in retrospect, I've come to realize that it's a very easy to maintain journal. So I've documented a lot on my social media as well with the intention of it becoming a journal. And then all that is obviously extracted by my teams and maintained somewhere. But I'm living my life publicly. I am pretty vulnerable online. Like I think I'm more vulnerable than one should be in many moments. So that's how I look at it. In terms of absolutely for myself, I do maintain a bit of a diary,
Uh,
but I write very rarely. I write when I'm like full of thoughts. So at like the peak of happiness or the peak of sadness?
How do you
Only at
move from
those two.
one guest to the other, Ranveer? How do you move, since you are visiting, you are connecting with absolutely accomplished, accomplished persons who achieved so much in life in all possible ways in their own respects? What kind of impact from one dignitary leaves on you to the other? Because you keep moving very fast.
Yeah, we record about 6 episodes a week, ma'am. So like I'm getting to meet stalwarts. So something definitely rubs off on you. A sense of what is not important in life rubs off on you a lot because you understand a lot from people's mistakes. You also sometimes, like, if I'm meeting someone who's over the age of 60 and who's a stalwart, I think those guests in particular have a lot to give. And I've come to realize that, peace is the most important thing in life. It's not even happiness, because happiness is also fleeting. So one should strive for peace. That's been my big lesson over the course of doing these almost 800 episodes now. And it's a great way to, one, document my own journey, but two, also answer the questions that are arising in my own 31-year-old mind. Like, I see a lot of my friends my age, just like me, are going through a bit of what one calls a quarter life crisis. So even I have my own version of that. But the thing is, my advantage is I have access to Dr. Kiran Bedi and I have access to Sudha Murthy ma'am. So I can just ask them, hey, what did you do at this stage?
Mm. Who do you go back to? Who's your anchor? Who is your anchor?
Um, it's not my mom because anymore, because I think the weight of the world right now is a little too heavy for me to share with her. So I keep her out of my professional life. Um, there's a childhood friend of mine. His name is Zarwan Bansha. Um, I've seen him switch careers rampantly and fail more than I've ever seen any other human fail. But today he's a very successful content creator. He's one of India's fastest rising content creators. But he got that success uh, 7 years after me. So for 7 years I was creating content and growing, and to see him getting success felt much better than seeing my own victory, because I saw him suffer that much. So now, when his reality is changing and people are treating him differently, we know that me and him together will always give each other very real inputs and call out each other's bluff, which is also important. So I think life made me meet him in the ninth standard, when I know him since I'm 14 years old. So it's so strange that we end up in the same industry and we're both growing together. There's no feeling that matches up to this. Like, to see someone who is more than a brother also, along with you, grow and see the difficulties that the media world has to offer. We're just two Dadar Vadala boys, and seeing the world as it is. So it's probably him, and I have a few engineering college friends also, because you cannot share things with your parents to a certain degree.
So when you are in the dilemma, how much do you self-talk, and how many times do you go to an anchor? How much of self-talk? Do you self-talk?
Yeah, I do, ma'am, but I try turning it into content, because again, that self-talk is an outcome of the peak of an emotional state, which is also the best time to create, the best time to write poetry, the best time to tell the world about your pain. It translates into the best kind of videos that do the best on social media as well. So if I've maxed out on that self-talk emotion, I definitely first try converting it into a message for the world. But I have come to realize that there is power that exists in going for clinical therapy with a psychologist. So that's a very practical uh, angle I have on it. I actually met my therapist through my podcast. Her name's Dr. Havovi Hyderabadwala, and it was very important, for me at the stage that I met her in my late 20s, when the quarter life crisis is beginning. You've already seen a lot of life, yet you want to grow more, yet you know the brutalities of the world. You need a little bit of a professional presence as well, because again, athletes have coaches, media professionals have to create their own coaches.
So do you have a me time?
Yeah, I do, ma'am. I focus a lot on my daily routine. Again, it's a lot about the body and the mind. So a lot of physical work and a lot of mental work. Um, I don't really enjoy. It's just me. I don't look down upon it or anything. I don't really enjoy watching too many series or consuming too much content other than podcasts. I love consuming podcasts of other people. So there's a lot of podcasts I consume. That's probably the only fun, so-called fun thing I do. Otherwise, everything else that I do is a lot to do with the body and the mind.
How do you prepare for your next guest?
Um, at this point, I receive a good amount of study material on them. So depending on the subject, I give it between 1 to 3 hours of study. So, but 1 hour is minimum usually, because you can't like sit on a high horse and say I was the first podcaster in the country, and therefore I'm prepared for all kinds of guests. And I definitely had reached that point as well. But again, great team around me, great support system to call out my bluff and say that okay, becoming arrogant about the process now. So back to square one.
So good support system, good briefing teams.
Yes, I have a good yes man radar. Like I can spot a yes man from a mile away, and I consciously try not keeping yes men or yes women around me.
So how much do you think through when you talking to absolutely stalwarts, because they are a world in themselves? Unless you ask
There's
them
a lot.
something very nice and provocative, something very interesting, how will they remember your interview?
There's a lot that goes on while a podcast is being created, because you are first and foremost a content creator, so you have to make something that's very consumable by the audiences. You are also hosting someone in your own houses as well as studio, so you need to keep them comfortable. And third, you have to be that young child that is just asking questions.
Yes,
Now,
yes.
I've come to realize that I am able to see questions if I am truly involved in a podcast. The questions just pop up in my head out of somewhere. I look at this as divine grace. It could be a form of pattern recognition. I don't know. But I am able to see the questions in my head to a large degree. And as they are answering something, I just find my leeway into asking the next question. So that's my standard process. But when it's a stalwart, the one thing I've noticed about stalwarts is that the whole world treats them like a stalwart, and often they just want to be treated like a human being. So
Yes.
I like making them sit down and not judging them, and not I mean not coming to judgments about them. Whether those judgments are good or bad, it doesn't matter. But no preconceived notions.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I really relate to that. The
She
creative
relates
idea.
exactly. Saina relates to this exactly. That's what her inner guru raises the questions from her for her from within.
No, it's
Right.
mass grace, because
Yeah,
creativity does flow from the divine. It can't
it
just
does.
where is it flowing? It's flowing from the divine. अपने child की बात करिए. Let's take you back into your childhood.
Okay.
Surprise,
We were fascinated by it.
surprise.
We were
Oh,
fascinated by it.
wow.
That's
Lovely. Lovely. How
That
nice to
that's my
see.
second mom.
yes,
So much
Yeah.
look like your mom. Yeah.
It's so
Akanksha,
nice
very,
to be
very
here.
well, very well.
And hello, Maham, both of you. I've learned so much about Ranveer from this episode. There are things even I don't know. I've seen him evolve and grow so much over the past 10 years. I feel like so much of what you said is true. You know, it is something he's meant to do. There's also divine intervention, and he's just harnessed his potential completely. So
Yeah.
Did you see it as an elder sister? Did you see this happening? Did you see this kind of potential bubbling in him?
I'll take you back to his childhood. I don't know if he'll say something, but I've seen him interact with people right from the age of when he was 3 years old. He could
Oh,
make anyone comfortable, whether, we were in the school bus, even the bus driver would, smile to see him. He was every teacher's favorite. People of all ages, would just like love him. Where we lived, we had a hospital, like a clinic on the ground floor. We lived above. So he could talk to every patient, staff, and everyone opened up to him naturally. We have a large extended family. Every family members, even before, he got into this field or before he was famous, every family member knew him, loved him, and had fond memories with him. So I think that he was as a child, he just told me one thing. He didn't know what he wanted to do, but he said, I want to be on TV. I want to be known and I want to talk to people for a profession. This
Wow.
is what he
Wow.
told me as a very young kid. So
Wow.
when he
Wow.
chose
Yeah.
this path, it was not easy. That it wasn't a direct path. There wasn't a feel like this at that point of time. And our family is pretty traditional. I'm a doctor. My parents are doctors. My mother's side were all engineers. So there was no one even remotely in the media or in the public eye. But he just went for it, and I'm so proud of you, Ranveer.
Uh-huh.
Just I
Thank you.
don't know how
Y-
you forged the path which is your own, but he's known
I-
now. Even if we go on trips anywhere in India or if we go abroad, there are people who come up to him and say, we loved your show. In front of me, people have told him it saved their life. So I feel like it's just God who is sent
Yes,
to the world through him.
yes. मैं
I
यहाँ पे जी जी रणवीर जी बोलो प्लीज आप
what I
बोलो
want to say is a lot of even like my mentality is an outcome of having a very protective elder sibling. So like we were just talking about this yesterday that she shielded me from the world, not just when we were kids, but especially I think at my most like at the weakest point in my life, which was age 22, where you're up against the big bad world, and my family was not able to wrap their head around what I wanted to do, but my sister always like stood by me. So there's a lot about my career that I owe my sister.
जी
Yeah.
I
रणवीर
think I just knew you could do it. Someone had to talk to our parents and kind of say that he is on the right path. Just let him try. Even if he doesn't try, we won't know what the outcome is. And it's life just changed after a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yes,
you
Anna.
know it's very important to add ये सोशल मीडिया और ये दो वर्ड्स एक साथ जाते नहीं है बिकॉज लगता है कि बहुत प्रैक्टिकल फील्ड है बट आई थिंक इट्स सो इम्पोर्टेंट टू ऐड प्योरिटी टू सोशल मीडिया because that's the content everyone is consuming and we have to add purity to it. Another thing मैं आपके सिस्टर को भी पूछूंगी आपको भी पूछूंगी जो रणवीर ने आपको बहुत बचपन में इसने आपको बोला था that he wants to talk to people. You know, मुझे ऐसा लगता है ये काम होता है जब आपके दिल में बहुत प्यार होता है एंड आप उस प्यार को बांटना चाहते हो. It's not about fame. It's not just about fame. You want to share that love. So how important is this word love for you? For both of you, you also, because see, you both are so connected karmically, your DNA, your journey, and the love that you're giving him as a sister, whether you're talking the whole day or not, whether you're meeting or not, that love is reaching him. The love of your mother is reaching him. The love of your father is reaching him. And he's going and sharing that love ahead. So talk about love, Ranveer.
Um, I don't know if I've ever looked at it as the word love, but I've definitely looked at it as positive energy. I think that when you're a kid, I remember being very, very fascinated by Shah Rukh Khan to begin with. I would always look at Shah Rukh Khan on screen and tell my mom that I really like this guy. I don't know why I like him, but I really like this guy. And then as you grow older and you understand how media works, you realize that it's those little nuances of body language and voice and dialogues that really convey the positive energy that we know Shah Rukh Khan for. So it was that, I think that was the emotion that if anyone ever interacted with me, be it in person or digitally, through a screen, I always want to leave them with positive energy. But that's happening because I've learned from the best and I've been corrected by the best because, no one's life path is linear. I think I was the bad kid of the two of us. So there's some aspects of being a bad kid that can be excused and there's some that can't. So the first person to call out my bluff would be my sister in those phases as well. And she was like the really, really good kid who set the benchmark in school. So I think a big aspect of being kind I've learned from the people around me. One of them is in front of the world right now.
आपके आपके मम्मी वाज गोइंग टू जॉइन अस एज अ सरप्राइज, बट वो कनेक्टिविटी की वजह से आज नहीं ज्वाइन कर पाए। बट जैसे आप सबको कहते हो ना कि विल डू अ पार्ट 2, पार्ट 3, पार्ट 4, somebody can do that part, you know, maybe we get your mummy and daddy for it. आपके बहन को आकांक्षा आपको पूछूंगी, how important it is to be very protective about each other as a family, how important it is as a family to be protective of each other.
I'll speak for myself. I'll speak for my mother today also because she's not here. But it's always from childhood. We've always been protected, and we've a lot of the things that that happened around us. We weren't told. Our parents always kind of shielded us from it, and it just I think love is something that is inherent, but love is also something that is acquired from the environment around you. And we were just bathed in love. Our mother always gave us such an amazing childhood, and I just want I see Ranveer now spreading love to so many people, and I think this is just something that he's meant to do. I initially, when he started his journey, if there was even one negative comment or like one troll on the video, I would get mad and I would call him like, should I reply? Should I report this? And he said, just let it be. Everything will flow with time, and there is more positive energy around me than negative. And just surround yourself in the positivity. And with time, I've learned that uh, more than the bad, there is good around
Yes.
all of us. Yes, and
Yes.
it's just showing through.
Yes.
Akanksha, how do you see Ranveer evolving? Do you see him evolving? Do you see him growing this
He's,
way? Because you've seen him from childhood. How do you see a subtle difference in his evolution?
I have seen him, I think, through every phase in life. So he was always a very happy, very loving, jolly kid. I have seen him as an angry teenager into his early 20s, not understanding life, not understanding what he's meant to do. And I just had to tell him that, it will work out. You just aren't on your path yet. It'll come. Some people know what they want to do early on in life. And for some, it comes later. But when it comes, it will bring you everything you wanted. And from when he started his journey on YouTube or through podcasting to what he is now, he's a completely different person. It's maybe through the people he met, through his meditation sadhana, through his prayer, he's uh, reached another plane, a high. I always tell him, now I look up to you, I respect you, almost at the level of maybe even a guru, because you have grown so much that every day we learn from you.
And
Wow.
where do you see him growing? Where do you see Ranveer going?
I think, Mom, he is someone who can change his path at any point of time, but the spirituality will stay.
Wow.
I don't know if this is the profession he'll be in the next 5 years or he'll be somewhere else, but it's definitely something that's going to leave a mark on the world.
Wow. What a prediction as a sister.
Yes.
Ranveer,
Yes.
what have you to say? What's your quick message to the youth? Because they all your age group is needing this kind of inspiration, and for some it's honey, and somewhere it's Greek and Latin. Go ahead, Ranveer.
Firstly, thank you to my sister. It's just too overwhelming because she's never appeared on the internet before this. So
Yeah,
the first message is, yeah, the first message is love your family. I think I truly understood the essence of that statement later on in life. So do it early. The second thing from a work perspective is learn very aggressively and try staying one step ahead of the world when it comes to learning, because that's what our country needs right now. And the third very practical piece of input is AI is going to change the world. So please educate yourself on all the AI tools that are available in your own field, because I don't think our population truly understands how much the world is going to change. So I think a heartbeat behind my work is um, to do it, to be able to do all this for the sake of India, Bharat. So I think we're in a very knowledge-oriented phase of human society, and it's all about accumulating as much knowledge as you can.
But what technology cannot do is the skills you are exercising all the time, skills
Yes.
you are expressing all the time. This AI cannot substitute.
Yes.
Ranveer.
Yeah. I think we're in that phase of humanity where it's both human beings and AI, which is going to shape up the future. So I'm just trying to do my best. But again, first and foremost, because I'm Indian. If all like I probably would have stopped creating content by now if I didn't think it was impacting the country as well. So that's a big, big part about what we do as a team here.
But you're giving a great platform to many, many deserving Indians who needed to be seen by the rest of the world. That's what I think I love about you, is you're projecting talent all over the world. And many of them are hidden talent, both spiritual or professional. Saina, any last word before we
Yes,
thank him?
I want to ask him something and then leave a little thought for everyone. First of all, to both of you, a lot of regard to your parents, to your mummy and to your daddy. We would have loved to have them with us, but you both are there. So you convey our love and fondness to them. How important it is, abhi, abhi AI or technology, yes, but how important is it to be real and authentic? And words have power and actions shape our lives. So what we're saying and how we are living our life have to blend. They can't be going in two different directions. So that's being real. So how important is it for any field, but especially social media, when you're being watched, they're listening to you. So you're being watched and they're listening to you. So words and actions.
That's your message, Ranveer, because we're running out of time.
Yeah. All I'll say is on social media, it's the single most important factor in long-term content creation because the audiences are extremely smart, and you will be caught if you're not being yourself online. Maybe you can get away with it in other industries, but not in our industry. But more important than a professional perspective is the personal perspective, which is that if you are not yourself, it can be one of the most choking situations to live through. You might be living a regular human life, but it'll always feel like you're a little bit caged. So it's more important to be real and embarrass yourself occasionally than never be real and live within a cage.
Bless you.
We look
Akanksha,
forward.
you say something from your daddy's side, from your mummy's side, which has not been said to him. Say it to him today.
It's very simple. We are all very proud of you, and no one knew the road that you would take would lead you where you are, but you always knew what you were doing. So just continue to follow your heart and follow your God, and it will just lead you to greatness even more than it already has. So, and
Thank
thank you, Ranveer, because
Wonderful.
you've enriched our lives as well.
So blessed.
Very good.
Beautiful.
That's a blessing.
Mummy,
Raksha Bandhan is coming. So your sister's given you her Raksha Bandhan blessings.
yes, mummy, your blessings for him.
He's had them from the very beginning. Very beginning. I see a great potential, and I love the sincerity with which you and you yourself, when you talk to the people who achieve so much in life, how you bring them at one level of one level of asking. You actually bring them inside out. What you do is you do bring them inside out, and they start chatting and they start sharing so much with you, just as our show is going to let people know how you've been nurtured and who you've been nurtured by and with. So do you do this with your dignitaries and celebrities? I want to thank you, Ranveer. Every time I see your
you, man.
show, there's so much of learning from you all the time. I'm so blessed that you've been blessed with a wonderful sister and a wonderful mother and a very protective father. Thank
Yes.
you. May you keep
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
succeeding. You have our blessings of the whole
No,
country.
thank
Well,
you.
the Prime
Huge
Minister
honor,
awarded
ma'am.
you. The Prime Minister awarded you. That's stamped it. That settled it, isn't it? The Prime Minister recognizing you. I think that was the has been the height of your career as well.
Yes, yes,
God
very,
bless you.
very big honor. It's been a game-changing year, but again, in my head, it's only the beginning. So there's a lot more to do.
Thank you. You've just begun. You've got a long way to go. May your journey be remain blessed.
जी,
Thank you.
और
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Huge honor.
आपका परिवार बहुत सुखी रहे।
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bless you.
माधारी bless you, और आप हमेशा हंसते खेलते रहो, and wish you all the very best for a beautiful family life ahead also. Beautiful
Thank you.
family life, your own
We'll-
family, best
Thank
family
you.
life.
We look forward to hearing more from you and about you.
Thank you.
All
Jai
well.
As
Thank
always,
you.
huge honor, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
जय धारी माँ, thank you.
Jai Dharima.
Jai Dhari.
Thank you, Akanksha. Ma bless you. Bless you.